the prop that Pastor brought up
Yeah.
today. What is it?
Uh, well, he called it a scourge. It's called a cat o' nine tails.
Cat o' nine tails. Yeah,
Is what the legitimate name for it is.
yeah.
For those of you who don't know what a cat o' nine tails is, it's a medieval weapon. It's a heavy wooden handle. It consists of, I think, 7 to 9 leather straps with knots and barbs in it, and pretty much what the person does who punishes the person who's receiving the punishment is they tie blades and bones and rocks and glass, anything they think that could tear and rend flesh. It They put it in there, and pretty much what happens is it's like a whip, except it's 9 whips with so much more, that comes out of it. So Pastor brought in a replica version, which is a very tame replica version. It was a very small, and it had tips, but it didn't have anything in the middle. And
They normally have something in the middle of that
oh
thing
yeah, no.
too.
So the way the scourge works is you have your handle,
Yes.
and it can be either like it can be like knife size, sword size. Some people carried whips, and then you have your 7 to 9, whatever they are. That's why it's called a cat of nine tails, because it's the 9 lives.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Don't quote me on that. If you know why it's called a cat of nine tails, drop in the comments below. But they take the leather straps, and they'll actually knot stuff into them as they go up. So like pastors had like a tip with like a really rugged, like rusty nail looking thing on it.
Yes, it's like from the distance that I saw, I did not handle it personally, but from what I saw, there's capped and then these hooks,
Yeah,
just these gnarly fucking
yeah,
hooks on the end of it.
yeah. But in medieval times, like they would put stuff like every 3 to 4 inches up the leather.
Yeah,
And they could add stuff in and take stuff out as they saw fit. A scourge was personable to the person putting out the punishment. So no two scourges were ever the same. But yeah, no, it was a crazy prop to bring and to show, and to like, cause like it's the first time I've ever seen a pastor bring one out in like a service. Like, this is what they they didn't just beat Jesus with it.
no.
They Okay, to get more into the scourge. So when the scourge would hit your skin, the initial whip part, what the wrist snap does is it causes the Dakota Nine Tails to flail out, and then as it comes in, it snaps into the skin.
Yeah.
So you're digging as deep into the skin, bone, marrow, whatever you got on it, it digs in. The next thing you do is you do a tearing motion. So the whip goes in like this, but it doesn't come out like that. The tearing motion causes the things to rake down. So it literally rends flesh, tears muscle, tendons, bone, sinew, skin, hair, whatever you want. That's what Jesus went through, and he went through that for a long time on that thing. And another important thing to bring up is that pastor, thankfully, he did dove into some really deep research.
Yeah.
Understand that it wasn't the Jews um, who were scourging Jesus. In Jewish law, you can only get 39 because they thought 40 was what killed a man. The Romans didn't believe in that. The Romans believed in making a mockery, making a point, making a statement. So anyone who saw what was going on, they did not want to go through that. And another thing Pastor brought up that was very important is the scourging by the Romans was done in a public forum. Like, it wasn't done in behind closed doors. It wasn't done in a court or in like some like enclosed space with a couple of witnesses that could say, "Yeah, we saw it happen." It was done um, right out in the open, in the middle of a courtyard. Anyone could come and see. Anyone could come and watch the spectacle of someone getting scourged. So I mean, Jesus went through all that for us. Like, he went through all of that, and that's the sobering part. Is that you have this fictional, watered down version of what Jesus went through. He got whipped a few times. He had to carry a cross. Yes, he died, but it was Jesus. But this was a man who felt pain and suffering. He felt emotion. He felt all these things, and